Good morning, everyone. Today is Thursday, February 26th, and we are here for our work session. And at this moment, we'd like to stand and have the pledge by Councilwoman Mary.
Thank you, Supervisor. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Councilwoman. Just have a few announcements. First off, we want to make sure we stop and thank each and every one of our highway department, our buildings and grounds, the sewer, the water. They sent people over. Even our lighting district helped out to make sure that we could get the snow plowed and get people back to work, because we know how much everybody loves to go back to work. And also our first responders. For a long time, if you're at home and your road is not perfect, they are still working, they're still doing their jobs. Please be patient with them. For the first 24 to 30 hours, they spent just making sure that our EMS were able to get from point A to point B. Would anyone else like to chime in on that at all?
Ditto what you're saying. I mean, they did a great job. There's a lot of snow and a lot of cleanup to be done.
So just in terms of announcements for our first responders, we just want to remind everybody that we did pass legislation at the last town board meeting. So those first responders that were initially less than 5 years, the tax implications have been lowered to 2 years now. So if you're in the fire department 2 years or 3 years for you now do qualify. Most important thing is the deadline is March 1st. So you need to come to town hall today or tomorrow and fill out your application for taxes, for tax benefits. So 10% reduction in your town taxes. So please, volunteer firefighters, come to town hall and fill out your application.
We know you've been busy with all the work, and I know they staged people during the storm. We're so thankful that they were able to keep people at their departments. And I know there were people posting on Facebook about needing to get to emergency surgeries. And again, thank you to each and every one of our municipal workers that made it possible for everybody to get back to school. I know kids were so excited to get back on their buses and go back. So again, thank you very much. Are there any other announcements beyond those? No? All right. So for our open session today, we want to start, we're actually going to start with number 4, matters surrounding the monthly justice report with our famous PILO, if you would come on down. Thank you, Counselor.
Okay, thank you so much.
Good morning, great to see you.
I have extra copies of the update chart if anyone needs them. Everyone has it? Okay. So we had a very strong month in January, 45,745 total. Biggest highlight there is the trial victory we had that resulted in $9,830 in fines. The defendant was found guilty on each and every charge. And Nicole Buckner was my witness from Code. She's an excellent witness, and I couldn't have done it without her. And it was a very successful trial. So that was good. Anything else that pops out? We now that the fire marshal fines have been updated and increased, you can see that there's a great deal of fines that we collected in the fire marshal section. So other than that, I'm still keeping up on the surcharges, tracking all of those, putting those in the appropriate categories. And we have some trials coming up in March. And just all around, just moving right along. Lots of good things happening in not just justice court, but all the courts.
That's because you're there.
Council,
You're doing a great job, really.
Council, what was the case that had the verdict on?
So it was a property in Riverhead. It was deemed a dangerous premises. There were a great deal of no building permits, no alteration permits. There was a lot of construction. It actually wasn't an overcrowded house, but there was a great deal of construction that was done without permits that was deemed unsafe to be habitable.
Great job.
So I know Code's keeping on top to try and make sure they come into compliance. Even though they were still found guilty and have to pay fines, we still want to make sure that they hit those benchmarks. So.
Excellent. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not just about finding how making them safe. Thank you. Thank you very much. Any questions?
No.
Thank you very much.
All right. I'm on to another court, so I'll see you all later.
Absolutely.
Get 'em.
So we'll jump back up to our first one. Matters surrounding the change to the 2026 Riverhead Water District rate restructure with Mr. Mancini. Well, sir, I know you've been busy. Thank you for all your hard work. I know you guys have been repairing lines and doing great stuff. Thank you.
Thank you. I included an attachment maybe we want to put on the screen. So thank you guys for having me, and thank you for consistently supporting me with small rate increases, because every year our costs go up, and when we get to do it a little increment at a time, it's not so bad for the customer. If we don't do it for years, then we have to do a larger increase, which is not as easy for the customer to deal with. And the timing of this is important to me because we want to give our customers many months' notice so they can adjust their watering habits if they would like. And we're doing one rate increase to correct not a rate increase, but a new fee to correct a regulatory problem. So we'll do that first. We're going to do a $100 non-compliance fee for what's called an RPZ inspection. The state sanitary code requires us to get requires our customers to get these devices tested once a year. It costs $300 to $400, but there's really no downside to them not doing it. If it was a threat to the system, I would shut them off, but you create a public health hazard, and it's really not something where we want to go. So now we're going to notify them. This is a program we manage in-house, where every month we send you a letter that says you got to get your device inspected if it's non-compliant. Now we're going to start warning people that if you go non-compliant, we're going to charge you $100 per month. Because we manage it by the month. And, the first couple months, there's going to be a couple angry people, but it's something I had to do because our non-compliance rate has gone down to 11%, and the Suffolk County Department of Health, I report that data to them, said you got to do something. So this is something where the water district's kind of stuck in the middle of a rule we didn't make up. The county's made it more difficult to become a licensed backflow inspector. So I feel bad for the customers, but I can't have a non-compliance rate and have a problem with my regulators. So this is just a motivation for you to go out and call a plumber and get your device inspected, like you have to do by law anyway. So this is not a moneymaker for us, but we've learned that, money does motivate people to take the right action. So that's
$75 to get the inspection done.
No, it's a couple $100. A small device might be $7,500 for like your 1-inch, but like say a 10-inch might be. Yeah. So there's a range based on the size of this thing.
But you can save yourself $100 a month if you just do it, right?
Yeah. So
That's what I was going to. So we pay about $75 for each one.
Okay.
Some of the funeral homes have two, so we pay $150, but it would be more cost effective for me to make sure I get the inspection done as opposed to taking on the fine.
yes, yeah. So hopefully you learn this lesson once as one of our customers, and then you just listen to our letters. We send you one once a month, and Melissa in my office manages that program. We have hundreds of these devices. We do it internally. We don't hire anybody to help us. So, I appreciate that one. So now let's get back to the rate increase. And what I do is I always compare us to our, not competitor, but our neighboring water supplier, Suffolk County Water, because we're different in that we do produce a product, drinking water. We make about 2.6 billion gallons of it a year, and there's an alternate to us, which would be Suffolk County Water. So despite these rate increases, we're significantly cheaper than them. We make the biggest move on our tiered rate. So here, after 90,000 gallons, we charge you more per 1,000 gallon. And the changes we're going to make are, we're currently at, let's see where we're at.
Can you point on here so people at home can see?
It's posted up there.
No, I know. I said,
Oh,
can you
want mine?
point? No,
Oh.
just can you point? Can you find it on there?
So here we are, our proposed, this one's,
Flip to the next page.
so right now we're at 195 per 1,000 gallons for the first 1,000. We're going to go up to 205.
Okay.
And the water authority's at 249, so we're significantly cheaper there. And then our tier 2 cost is going up from $3 to $3.25. So if you don't use a lot of water, you're not going to be impacted by that. Okay. That only impacts our largest users. So if you hold back on aggressive watering in the summer, that shouldn't impact you. One thing people will bring up is that we are a taxing entity, unlike Suffolk County Water. So you'll see our service charge is significantly lower than theirs. We are going up $1 each on each one of these service charges. The 1-inch meters, up to 1 inch, you get billed quarterly. At 1.5, you'll see the price actually goes down because you get billed monthly after. We consider that like a commercial or large meter. So that's why the number dips, but you're getting that every month instead of every 3 months. That's pretty much it on the increases. We do a comparison. I don't know if we can show this one, but
Just lay it right there.
oh, perfect.
Yeah, there you go.
So in this case, we took a water bill that we have, and we compared like what our rate is. In this case, it's 100,000 gallons. Say you use it, so you're hitting our second tier. Right now, you would pay us $248.50. After these changes, we would be charging you $282. If you were at Suffolk County Water, it would be $314.43. So this includes everything. So we still are a better deal, but we do need the revenue. This year we lost one of our cell phone providers. One of the long-term goals of the district financially is we depend on cell phone rental revenue for our annual operating budget, and that's not really a good thing to do because that business could go out of business and we have no control of it. So we'd like to wean ourselves off of cell phone revenue, put that to the side in an account to maintain our tanks, because we have a lot of them and they cost a lot of money. The longer you wait to maintain one, the more expensive it gets to fix. So we would put that in account for tank maintenance, and eventually we want to wean ourselves off that cell phone revenue in our general operating budget completely. So losing that $300,000 lease really hurt us, so we were forced to do a rate increase because we had budgeted that revenue for this year's operating budget. So this rate increase was a little bit more than we normally do because of that loss of revenue, but in the big picture, we're trying to wean ourselves off that cell phone revenue for our annual operating budget to begin with. So that's pretty much it.
Plus, the cost of your employees goes up every year, right?
It does, and we struggle to keep them because we pay less than our surrounding ones. And
That's concerning to me because, having been on the personnel committee, you constantly lose people to Suffolk County Water.
yeah, and Brookhaven Lab.
And Brookhaven Lab, and that's concerning. It's always been concerning to me. Frank, I think it would be helpful if you let people know when the best time to water in the spring and the summer is, because a lot of people are watering during the day when a lot of that water is just evaporating.
Yeah, well, we went through this one. It's a hard answer because, if you live, say, in Wading River, where there's not a lot of wind and sun, maybe watering in the day isn't a terrible idea. But if you're in Calverton with no trees and in the middle of the sun, it's going to evaporate. I'm not a huge supporter of channeling people into watering windows. Like you'll see some restrictions other water suppliers do. But I like to spread the demand out over the day if possible. Because we really do, any water supplier, we all work the same. Basically from 1 a.m., 2 a.m. to 9 a.m. in the morning, all these automatic sprinkler systems fire off on a Monday, Wednesday, and a Friday. So those mornings are our toughest, where everything's on and the tank's empty, and then the whole day we climb up. Everybody mows on a Thursday. It's really interesting how they're all controlled the same way. And I learned that when we were going to codify water restrictions, and I was shocked because people didn't like that, and it was a big public hearing for us. We ended up backing off, but what I learned was I was contacted by the Long Island Irrigation Association, and then they put me in contact with all the irrigation companies that service Riverhead, and I was able to tell them, like, could you stagger your time clocks? Because they had no idea, so they go from facility to facility, these large communities and stuff, and they just set the time clock the same. Once they started staggering them, that really helped on that demand because everybody wants water at the same time. So I'm more in favor of, basically water differently than your neighbor would be my advice. Because it's two things. It's not only the water we supply you and the tanks are low, but in many cases the water main is quite thin. And if you're like in an old area of Wading River or downtown, you might have 6 inch in the road. Nowadays we probably put 10 or 8 in there. But if everybody's watering, the water just can't get enough of it can't get through the 6 inch pipe. So it's better for you if you stagger your usage based on what your neighbors are doing, so that you get more of that flow coming through the pipes. It's a really complicated answer, but I just think my advice is water differently than your neighbor.
And Frank, you did do a presentation when I was liaison. We had you. I'm sure it's on video. We brought it before a work session and we're showing everybody the different ways to water with the sprinkler systems and the different types that are out there. And so that's great. People can look at that too.
Yeah, we work closely with the town's environmental committee, and we recommend all types of different watering schedules, and we put you in contact with you. There's no program that's going to work for everyone, but there's something out there that'll work for you. And if you work with us, then that's all we're asking. This is This is not a problem for just us. Every water supplier on the island does this. 70% of the drinking water we produce throughout Long Island is used to irrigate your lawns and your plantings. So to me, we have to rein that in. And, part of the tiered rate is how we do that. And having the higher tier discourages people from using an excess amount of water. And I'm a big advocate of private wells for irrigation. If you don't have to use drinking water to irrigate, you shouldn't. We spend all this money to treat it to drinking water standards, so most of it can be sprayed on the ground. And I think the whole island needs to communicate that. We also incur different costs. Like this year, the EPA's 4 part per trillion PFAS standard is being implemented. That's lower than the state's 10. But not all states were aggressive in regulating that, so we've been sampling these wells for over 5 years. And in my world, if a well has a non-detective of chemical for 4 consecutive quarters, a whole entire year, we get to back off the sampling and do it once a year. But because of this new rule, we now have to go back as if we've never sampled for PFAS so aggressively, because other water systems throughout the country have not. So in any case, that's 20 grand of extra PFAS samplers. They're about $300 a piece, and within a year, we'll shed a lot of that because we anticipate non-detects on almost all of our wells. But for now, to meet the federal standard, we have to now do a lot of sampling that we've been doing for 5 years, and that's just 20 grand, just that one rule change.
Well, it's unfortunate, but we're lucky to have you, and
Well,
thank you for helping explain it to our residents and
Thank
helping
you,
them
guys.
to understand. It really is great.
Yeah, you guys have been so supportive of me. I really thank you. And we have little problems we fix. We have big problems we fix, and some of these long-standing ones will take years to fix.
And if the taxpayers don't understand it, they're welcome to call you. And they
Yeah.
will- you've always been great. I know when even in my own home,
Yes.
years ago, you've been really good. So why don't you give everybody your office number and extension, and that way they can call. if they have
My
questions.
business card up there.
All right. So
I was out late yesterday at a break on 58.
yeah,
So
your team.
oftentimes you get not everybody gets places you get to talk to the superintendent, but you can always call me.
So there you
And
go.
you might see me out in the field.
I want to commend
I
you too.
saw
I saw
you.
you on Elton Avenue there, and it was bitter cold,
Yes.
snow blowing everywhere. So
Yeah.
commend you, your workers, your
I'm
entire
so
staff
proud
there.
of my staff.
Going on.
Yeah, we have not hired we love our contractors, but we have not hired a contractor to fix an outside water main break in a year and a half. Despite taking hits I've lost some of my best guys recently, and we're still cranking through it because we develop new guys into the best guys.
You do.
So, thank you guys so much.
Thanks, Frank. Thank you for the update, and we look forward. Oh, thank you, sir.
Yep, thanks so much.
So our next one will be matters surrounding 1025 Roanoke Avenue, professional office zoning with Mr. Bergman. Morning. Thanks for coming.
So I'm just here to bring up a discussion with the board regarding professional office use within the business PB zoning use district. For the board's reference, the business PB zoning use district is generally on both sides of Roanoke Avenue, from Northville Turnpike, pretty much almost up to Old Country Road. Currently, the business PB zoning use district allows professional offices. Our town code 301-3 provides a list of different professions that fall under the category of professional office. And it also includes a caveat that says, any other professional office determined by resolution of the town board to have similar impacts to those listed above. So the building department has received an application. There's a property located at 1025 Roanoke Avenue, which is on the southwest corner of Roanoke Avenue and Merritt's Pond Road. It was an old single-family residence that was converted to a doctor's office in the early 2000s. Just for your reference, so we can see what we're talking about here, this was the approved site plan from March of 2000. Again, the existing single-family residence is a small parking area. That site is parked at 1 per 150 square feet, so it met the requirements for parking, was operating as a doctor's office for a number of years. There was an application made. The property has been purchased by a new owner. An application was made to establish an esthetician's office within that location. So based on the language within our definition of a professional office, I find that an esthetician is very similar in nature to any of those other permitted uses. They're providing a service. It's a state licensed professional. It's done in an office setting. The site meets all the parking requirements. So I put together a quick zoning determination that I find the impacts from an esthetician's office would be similar enough to those other professions enumerated. So if the board agrees, I can prepare a quick resolution that would affirm that determination and allow this gentleman's building permit application to go forward.
Only if you tell me what an esthetician is.
Facialists.
Oh,
Facials.
Oh, that,
Maybe they do.
I wouldn't,
Line 'em up.
I wouldn't
Have to get rid of
allow
the-
that.
Maybe they
No,
do microblading, you know, again, I'm an esthetician, again, facial.
Real rough crowd.
Again, but
If it's
just,
perfect, Greg, leave it alone.
yeah, exactly. But again, just in terms of impacts, you know, I find that they are very similar, so if the board agrees, I can prepare a quick resolution that would kind of affirm that determination.
I don't
and
see
you
it
can move
affects
forward.
it in any way.
I'm good with it. It's ridiculous. I mean, thanks for bringing it.
Appreciate you always. Tell your dad I said thanks.
I'll get their phone number so you can make an appointment.
Thank you.
All right, we're actually going to skip down. We're going to do our town clerk report. They've asked to jump the line. Happy to do so.
How's everybody? Good. So January was a little bit slower. The weather didn't help anybody. But we're definitely getting a lot more special event applications. They're definitely coming in for spring, summer, and even some fall. Regarding the online dog system for dog tags, they have all the bugs, the kinks have been taken out of that, so it's working, it's fully operational, everybody's good. And we're actually looking into having the same online option for yard sales as well. That'll allow people to print their permits right at home. They don't have to rush here on a Friday and be like, oh my gosh, I need a permit quick. They can do it at home. So we're looking into that as well. All of our Spanish forms are being updated as well. We're putting that on the online as well to have that aspect of the community, to have that option on there as well. And that's pretty much it.
What are we charging for yard sales now?
They're $10 per day.
What were they last year?
They were $10 per day.
Okay, so.
They went up from $5 per day the year prior.
Right, so, and Southold is what? 25 per
I
day?
believe Southold is, I have to get a list for you.
That should go up $5 until we get to where Southold is at least
Okay.
a year. Okay.
All right, we'll definitely look at the
Thank you.
surrounding towns and see what they charge.
It's gonna kill your sales, Bob,
That's an opinion.
getting all that stuff out of the garage.
You know, we'd love to have more discussion about that. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Any other questions? All right,
Great
cool.
job. Thank you very much. Thanks for.
Can I just say too, though, you guys have been phenomenal during the winter storms and everything. I'll just, not to bring my own business, but in the field of funeral directing, so the public knows we need a permit for every service that goes in. And you guys are constantly available, constantly, logging on and giving us those permits online. So you never stop working, so thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, our next will be matters surrounding further revisions to the Chapter 301-1 golf cottages with Mr. Bergman. That's why you stood up. You stayed, right? Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. I should have told you they asked.
Justin, can we just zoom in on this map? I want to be able to follow along. All right, so,
So, just for the general public, so Bob and I have met with you a few times. So Councilman Kern and I have gone in, we sat, as public knows, we had a public hearing. We sat down with you. We've been tentatively listening to the public. Even attended the online Zoom meeting for the Jamesport Civic Association last month. We've been talking about the golf cottages. I think the general public really wants us to stay within that 600 square feet, which was listed in the comp plan. And so Bob and I even sat down to try to figure out, hey, what's the size of a bedroom, the size of a kitchen, and kind of got some guidance from you. You've been great. I think we could keep it down to 600 square feet, so we're kind of alleviating the general public's concern about these large facilities. We also changed it so that there's no more than 2 connected, right? So we're not doing 9 in a row. They're not going to be 2-story, building. There was a fear that we were somehow going towards a hotel-style complex. That's never going to happen. So it's a maximum of 18. no more than 2 connected, and that just helps with like septic systems and things like that. So I'd rather have 9 instead of 18 in the ground, if they're all spread out around the area. So I think we've heard the public, we've responded to the public. I think we're in a pretty good place at this point. The biggest thing is we're going to sell TDRs. So we're going to get 1,200, every 1,200 square feet, we're going to get a TDR. So for regular course, golf course, we can get up to 9 TDRs in order for this to be implemented, take place. We also talked about the discussion, so we'll share it with the rest of the board about potentially whether opening up and how it can affect other golf courses to put everybody on the same level play, because I think everybody's struggling together, but the biggest thing was the zoning issue itself is RA 80. So I think I just want the public to know we're responding to you, we hear you, and I think we've kind of tackled most of the major concerns that one had, that these will be very mild uses on a golf course. I love the way in your office that you put the square footage down on the golf course and you zoom out and you see it's just like a little dot, on a 125-acre course. So it's very small usage, but that's going to help these golf courses survive. Because we don't want to go down the avenue where Calvert and Links and others have done in the past. So
That's correct.
So I just wanted to do that, right, Councilman Kern? And just so it's been.
Yep, and I would just add, you did put in here that they can't, there's no construction of restaurants or spas. I mean, and Greg, I'll leave it up to you, but people were concerned that this was going to be a hotel. Maybe it's not a hotel.
And I understand the concern, and again, putting language in there to really, drive that fact home. It says, nothing contained within this definition shall be construed to permit the construction of restaurants, spas, or other types of amenities related to golf cottages. Golf cottages shall remain under the ownership and operation of the golf course upon which they are located and shall not be subdivided or placed into condominium ownership for the purposes of transfer. Golf cottages shall not be used for the purposes of establishing residency in the town of Riverhead. So that sort of addresses the concern of, again, the spa resort type development, the potential for these things to turn into, housing units or sold. And again, we're not going to be dealing with any, school children or impacts to the schools because they're not going to be used for establishing residency. Councilman Rothwell did sort of set the stage. So the definition goes back to the golf cottage shall not exceed 600 square foot per area, limited to 1 per hole. Correct in stating that no more than 2 attached cottages with common walls separating the units shall be constructed. So in theory, someone could build, if they have an 18-hole golf course, they could build 18 detached 600 square foot cottages, or if they wanted to build 9 structures, each of those structures could have 2 golf cottages with a common wall separating it. In no case would you exceed the total floor area based on that 600 square foot per unit definition would be about 10,800 square foot, which again, to the councilman's point, when you look at the size of some of these golf courses, some in excess of 150 acres, 10,000 square feet is like 0.01% of the floor area. So the footprint of the development would be very limited in terms of the scale of the course. One of the more significant things that I wanted to address, and we're trying to come up with a working answer for it to be consistent with the comp plan. The comp plan did recommend making golf cottages a permitted accessory use on all golf courses regardless of the zoning district. Now, the map that I've prepared for you, and I did provide it for the board's reference to follow along, because when we talk about things like zoning use districts, unless you have a map to follow along, it's sort of an abstract concept. So what I've done here, it's on the back there, what I've done here for the board's reference, this black line here.
I didn't get a map.
It should be attached to your new copy that he gave us.
Right there. That's it. Yep.
Thank you.
So this black line is the approximate limits of the APZ zoning use district, which right now is not a receiving district. I've also highlighted the locations of the existing golf courses.
Okay, go ahead and explain that again, the receiving district, just so people at home understand.
Well, so a receiving district is when we're talking about the transfer of development rights. There's sending districts and there's receiving districts. Sending districts are those from where the development rights are sent. The receiving districts are those districts where those TDRs are received and are used for increased density.
Thanks, that way if they're following along.
So originally, the way the code was drafted, the TDR language and the golf cottages would only have benefited the Baiting Hollow Club and the Friars Head Golf Club because those are located in the RA80 zoning use district, which is a receiving district. In order to create a more equitable approach, which I believe is the board's intention and is one of the goals of the comp plan, we want to increase tourism, you want to support these existing businesses, like Councilman Rothwell said, you don't want to see golf courses close, go to solar. In order to potentially create and establish Riverhead as more of a golf destination, came up with the potential rezoning of several of the golf courses in town, specifically Great Rock, now known as The Rock, Cherry Creek, the woods at Cherry Creek, and the Long Island National.
The vineyards too, right?
Well, so the vineyards, and I'll get to that. The vineyards was created as part of a cluster subdivision. That golf course is only 87 acres, so it would not fall under the definition of a standard golf course, which has a minimum size of 125 acres. So I do not propose rezoning that just because it does not fall under the definition of a standard golf course. Swan Lake is located in the Natural Resource Protection Zoning Use District, which is also the Pine Barrens Core development area. So I just for environmental purposes, I don't think we should really do anything over there. And then Indian Island is owned by the county, which is located in the Tourism Resort Campus. I don't think we would necessarily be appropriate in rezoning that. So just from the potential impacts of the rezoning, the Rock Golf Course is located in the RB80 zoning use district, and then Cherry Creek, the woods at Cherry Creek, and Long Island National are located in the APZ zoning use district. Now, the three zoning use districts that we're talking about, both the RB80, RA80, and APZ, from a potential development standpoint, they are very, very similar. They are both 2-acre residential zoning use districts, meaning to develop a single-family residential lot, you need a minimum of 80,000 square feet. All of those zoning use districts, in the event of a residential subdivision, require clustering, meaning you establish a yield, and then instead of develop the entire tract, you preserve 70% of that land for either agricultural purposes or open space. So, at its core, if we were to rezone the 4 golf courses, The Rock, Cherry Creek, the woods at Cherry Creek, and Long Island National, if we were to rezone them Residence A80, it doesn't change the as-of-right underlying development potential. Now, I have not spoken to these golf courses. I'm just going to use Cherry Creek as an example, just so the board can kind of comprehend numbers and potential development. Now, if Cherry Creek were to close tomorrow, they would go out of business. That site is about 166 acres. That site could be redeveloped with a clustered single-family residential subdivision, somewhere in the number of about 83 units. It's likely a little bit less when you take out roadways and infrastructure, but just based on the raw land of 166 acres, you divide that by 2, you come up with a rough as-of-right development of about 83 single-family residential units.
See, that I think, I'm going to pause you just for a minute, because that's, a lot of people have asked, like, why are you doing this? Why, what's the purpose of this legislation? They don't understand the impacts, I think, that if a golf course does not survive, that impact of those houses, the impact on the school district, and the additional traffic, things like that, I just so that just to pause for a minute, that puts, 83 houses, puts in, 160 kids in the school districts, easy, right? I mean, potentially more, but that's just where we're going. That's why it's so important for these golf courses to survive and give them another tool to make it happen. I just wanted to pause you for a minute there, because that's a big impact, and that's something that Councilman Kern and I were talking to you, and you were breaking everything down in the different courses. That was very important.
So again, just under the existing APZ zoning, again, if Cherry Creek were to close tomorrow, that site could potentially be redeveloped with up to 83 single-family residences. In the event of the rezone, while allowing the use of transferred development rights for the golf cottages, does also have the potential impact. The RA80 zoning use district can also be used to, essentially double the allowable residential density. So now, in a scenario where we rezone the property to RA80. If Cherry Creek closed, instead of those 83 houses, it could potentially go up to 166. However, that would require the redemption of 83 TDRs to get to that allowable density. So I just did a real quick analysis of the 4 golf courses that I would recommend to rezone. Now, the Rock Golf Course is somewhat unique. That golf course was established under a recreational overlay zoning use district that was applied by the town board. I believe it was in 1994. That golf course was originally open space for the Sound Breeze development, and then the town board allowed the recreational overlay for the creation of that golf course. So if we were to rezone this RA80, there's still no development potential on that golf course because it was used to cluster for all the residential development around it. So just kind of did a quick analysis just based on Cherry Creek, the woods of Cherry Creek, and the Long Island National. If those sites were to close tomorrow, they could potentially be redeveloped with, again, so Cherry Creek was 83 single-family residents, the woods, Cherry Creek was approximately 64, and the Long Island National could be 75 single-family residential units. So the total increase, if we go to the RA80, if they use TDRs, an additional 222 single-family residential units could be developed. However, that would also require the preservation of 222 acres. Now, there is a bit of a trade-off.
That's our backup plan.
Correct. And again, that's
So number one, you allow the cottages, you let them survive and prosper and keep it. But then the backup plan is the TDRs. So if
Correct.
it fails, we have TDRs being sold, potentially.
correct. So there is sort of a net difference. So the way the TDR program works, generally, it's from a 2-acre zoning district. The TDR is valued at 1 acre. So while you would preserve 222 acres to create those 222 additional residences, if those parcels were developed just under that existing zoning, you could see 111 houses developed on those 222 acres. So there would be a net increase of up to potentially 111 additional single-family residences that would result from the potential rezoning and the shift in the density. Again, but at its fundamental level, when the town adopted the TDR program, it's noted, the fundamental basis of the TDR is you're using density from one location and shifting it to another. While it is a preservation tool, it is also a development tool. So it's not just a strict preservation. So
Shifts the burden.
that's sort of the proposed changes in a nutshell. Again, I think, and it's not a huge departure going from the APZ to the RA80, again, because you still have the clustering component that's required. You'd still have that TDR component that's required. And again, it's not like you're rezoning it commercial or some other, it's essentially going from 2-acre single-family residential zone to a different type of 2-acre single-family residential zone with a modest increase in potential development, again, if all of those courses were to close and be redeveloped. But, like Councilman Rothwell said, the purpose of the golf cottages is to try to make these things viable. It also has the potential impacts of just general economic development. You have more tourism coming to town. You have more people coming to restaurants, shopping. It could have the potential to create Riverhead as more of a golf destination.
There were residents asking during the public hearing and through emails, what about the other golf courses? So I think now we're trying to, we were gonna initially do like a 1-step watch and see, 2-step, but I think there's a good, again, the backup plan of protection through the means of TDRs. I think we're ready to incorporate all of them and make sure they survive.
Well, I think there was fear too from people just saying that maybe we were showing favoritism to 2 golf courses, and we weren't. It was where the zoning was, and this is, like you said, more equitable for stakeholders across the town board. And I think that's, we want them to thrive, not just survive. So it's all those things and transferring it. So yeah. So it's good.
And to an extent, yes, the original code amendment addressed the low-hanging fruit. Again, it was an existing receiving district. It was an easy lift. However, when I really sort of stepped back and thought about this rezoning and the potential impacts, again, I didn't see that it was a huge departure or something that would have really any significant environmental impacts. Again, you still have the 70% cluster, so I mean, the goal of the APZ to preserve agricultural soils would still be accomplished with that rezone to RA80. So, I mean, I think it creates a more equitable approach. It creates something that has the potential to drive more economic development and tourism to the town. Ultimately, I think it's a win both for the golf courses as well as potential preservation tool.
And what is seemingly uncommon for Riverhead residents, this is a very common practice across the country. And I've stayed at these places right on the golf course, and that's where you want to be.
I love that we're sticking with the comp plan. Paid all that money for it. You guys put a lot of work into it. It's good stuff. So.
Good job.
Thank you.
So we're ready to go to a
Yeah, so
resolution for
what
a
I'll do
public
is
hearing?
I'll put everything, we will, because there are sort of significant changes, and it does now involve some rezoning. There will be another round of public hearings. I'll put that language together. I did speak with Matt. I may take some of the performance criteria from the definition of a golf cottage and maybe put it into a supplementary use regulation section, just because not 100% thrilled about the performance criteria in the definition. Wouldn't change the intent, wouldn't change the purpose, would just sort of separate them and have the mechanics of the implementation of it a little bit different. But again, for the purpose and intent would not change, but if the board's amenable, we can get forward on this, new public hearing.
This is a win. I think it's a win for the people because they came, they spoke, we listened. Good stuff. Thank
Again,
you.
we listen, I hear the concerns, and we want to respond to them, so I think we put forth a viable solution.
Thanks, Greg. Always great to see you. Our next matter is matters surrounding our code enforcement with Mr. Downs. Great to see you this morning. Figure your office will be busy making sure that people get those sidewalks cleared, right?
Yes,
Get those cleared. If you're watching or you know a business, just kindly ask them to do that, and then our code enforcement will take care of it.
Thank you for that plug. Yeah, I was going to mention that.
Yeah, a lot of people don't realize that you are responsible for your sidewalks, for the fire hydrant,
Yep.
your mailbox. All of those things have to be cleared.
Yeah, especially Route 58 and Main Street, any businesses that abut sidewalks, we appreciate that they clear them.
Absolutely.
So
And we maybe put your business card out like Frank did, in case
sure.
they don't.
I do find if you don't clear the mailbox, no bills come.
good point. Excellent point. All right, everybody have the handout for a code for the month of January? Okay. During the period of January 1st, 2026 to January 31st, 2026, we opened and investigated a total of 62 complaints. This excludes the fire marshal complaints and the building department complaints. Breakdown by complaint category, we had 2 for animals and dogs, 1 for commercial litter, 2 for illegal apartments, 5 for the light ordinance, 2 for overcrowded, 3 for property maintenance, 2 for no rental permits, rental verifications, we had 2, solid waste, we had 1.
Can we pause on solid waste for 1 second?
Sure.
And I don't believe, was this hazardous waste by any chance, or just,
No, I'd have to look in to see exactly what the specifics were on that one. It could be a entourage of different things related to solid waste.
I bring that up, Rich.
Dumping,
Yeah,
something like that.
I bring that up because I've been meaning to get to you about, what the fine is for hazardous waste.
Sure.
You
I
know,
think you
could-
mentioned it last time.
Yeah, I know, I just haven't had a chance, we just need to get together.
Sure, absolutely, yeah. Streets and sidewalks, 3, that's excluding the snow stuff, we'll get into that. Unsafe building and structures, we had 1. Wetlands, we had 1, and zoning use violations, we had 2. Total complaints, again, 62. We issued tickets and violations, totaling 29 for the month of January. Some of the violations included no rental permits, no building permits, no COs, certificate of occupancies, front yard restrictions, those are those ones that you're parking your vehicle on the front yard, depositing on property, that's a litter violation, Maintenance of property and other litter violations. The two specific differences are one's on residential, one's on commercial. Unsafe buildings, immediate orders and hazardous conditions. Those are our housing violations, other illegal apartments and basements, overcrowding. Those are addressed through immediate orders. Emergency vacate orders. Snow and ice removal, here's the big one. We did issue 66 tickets in the month of January for those businesses and properties that didn't clear the snow. So those are forthcoming. The violations on those are $250 minimum or up to $2,500 maximum. So
I think it's important for people to understand why it's important that we enforce this, because if somebody slips and falls, they're going to sue the business and then they're going to sue the town. And we're going to end up with lawsuits.
It's not only that, I mean, I will commend some of the car dealerships. I know it's a county road, Route 58 and so forth, but they work extremely hard. When that snow was tossed over onto the side, going out, 6 lanes across with turning lanes, it piles up heavy, and it is a burden to clear that. But if they don't do that, what we end up happening is people literally walking in Route 58, and that is the most dangerous thing about somebody getting hit and killed. But it's a tough task, and so I've been watching them Bobcats go for the past 3 days, doing everything they can to clear it. But when that piles up and it freezes, it's a tough task.
yeah, it definitely is. Trying keeping up with
But you
the
see
plowing.
certain dealerships that are out there during the storm doing it like they're dedicated. So
Yeah, you do. Yeah.
And you guys do a good job. You're not out there just finding people. You warn them. You guys give them a really fair chance. So.
Absolutely, we do. Yeah. Total enforcement actions for 2026, we had 95, 29 violations, plus the 66 snow tickets that we issued. Moving on to rental properties, applications submitted, we had 87 for the month of January. Revenue collected was $47,175. Inspections that we completed were 60, and the permits that we issued, 92 permits were issued. That's about it. Any questions?
the revenue collected just for the rental houses, or that's the overall revenue, all violations?
No, that's just for the rental houses.
I'm curious to see what the revenue collected is for violations at some point. I know you gotta get through justice court and determinations, but
Yeah, I
you ever
think-
get a follow-up? with
Yeah,
it?
Victoria
Is
should
that
have
just
that
part of
information, yeah.
strictly Victoria's report?
I think, yeah.
Right, it would be Victoria's report, part of her report.
But it's-
I missed part of her report. Maybe she
She
has
she
it.
does give the totals, I'm just, it's,
Yeah.
you guys are doing great over there, but you're limited on staff, so
Thank you, appreciate it.
hanging in there.
Thanks for coming at the last town board meeting too and doing all that
Oh,
explanation.
yeah, no problem at all.
I like at the
But-
bottom how you have the rental registration program shows continued strong compliance.
Yes,
That's
it
great
does.
news.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
great.
I did receive a phone call yesterday from a resident in Polish Town complaining about all of the cars that are all over the place, not just recently, but, spread out. And a few conditions about a couple homes that are in there that they're,
Okay, if you have the details on it, I'd love to get it from you, and
yeah,
I'll look into it further, absolutely.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Rich.
All right, thank you.
See you next month. Thank you very much. And we actually have two additional. First one is matters surrounding monthly police report with Frost. And then we're going to be adding an additional thing that just came up this morning for our one of our departments that involve our PD and IT and stuff. So,
Good morning.
and our planning department, they'll need to be here.
Okay, you guys all have the copy of the report. We had 28, 25 incidents, a little down from 2025. Denise, I know you're always domestic. Obviously, you dropped to 42. Yeah, that is good.
Especially in the cold months, everybody's close quarters.
Everyone's home. Yep, together.
Lockdown for 3 days.
We issued 1,079 summonses, up a little from 2025. Arrests were a little down to 65 from 72. but it also relates to the criminal incidents dropped as well to 113. It was 106 in December, so it went up a little bit. I looked into it. It was we had 5 DWI arrests in December. We had 10 in January, and just simple assault, which is could be harassment or an assault third. They were up slightly. The revenue collected is 5790.50, a little down from 2025. We are still trying to figure out a way for alarm billing. When we switched to our new CAD record system, it did not have a module like the old system did, where it automatically generated the bills. I've been using interns to process alarms bills for false alarm billing. So we didn't have an intern this past, in between the college break, but my staff is working to do it manually. So we took a step back, but we are trying to find other ways of either getting a program to do it or using an existing program. I know we've been fooling, the captain's been working with the Edmonds program, there's a couple things it doesn't do that it needs to do. So we are actively doing it.
You working with IT on that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Excellent.
Yep.
Thank you.
No problem.
We missed the deer hits here.
Yes. What are they at? Let me see.
Who wants to give that group a hard
18. Yeah, with the cold weather, they're running around. They're out more. That's a known fact. So, they're out during the day. I see them now, just because they can't with the cold.
One just stood in the road in front of me. Luckily, I was going nice and slow, but he just stood there in the middle of the road, and I had to go around into the opposite lane of traffic just to avoid that he wouldn't move.
Yeah, I was coming on by Eastwind, coming on 25, and I could see the deer. It was running right towards the road and trying to get through the snow fence. I'm like, I'm stopping. I just pulled over.
It's because they're food resources. They go to the edge of the road to eat the grass.
We had no non-fatal overdoses and no alleged possible fatal overdoses. It's pretty much all I have, unless you guys have some questions for me.
I just want to say that 5 years ago, we started making a wholehearted investment into the police force by increasing personnel and changeovers in the higher ranks of the department. And it's clearly paying off. The Riverhead is a safer, better town. Your monthly reports spell it out that consistently crime is down and we're doing a better job. So the investment has worked. So thank you to all the men and women in our law enforcement, because you guys are
It's the additional,
out there and
additional staffing.
you're
definitely.
visually out there more. It's great. So we've grown. So we're at 100 officers now. We've grown.
Yep.
It's excellent and it's working.
Yes, it definitely helped.
I don't know if you listed that, but you said like 113 criminal incidents. It was down. It's down. It was 164.
Correct.
This time last year. That's a tremendous drop.
Yep.
Tremendous.
And thank you for coming yesterday and celebrating with the sheriffs and honoring them. And they just spoke so highly of you and all your experience. So
Thank you.
Good
I
job.
have to thank them when I see them.
Yeah.
Today. Today.
I have one question.
Sure.
To me, it's going to be very interesting looking at the new state law on DWIs to see if they do in fact drop, because, there's a lot of points that are now added to licenses. I'm real curious to see what happens, because I know there's been some people that drive around DUIs 3 times, DWIs. And I could go back 20 years ago. If you got a DWI, your license was taken away from you, but now it seems to be like, oh, okay, here's your license back.
Yeah, we'll have to take a look. Yeah, obviously the points did raise for, people convicted of that. Unfortunately, there are people that drive with no license, suspended licenses. I see, we have to see, it'll help the law-abiding citizen, but if people still gonna drive, they're gonna drive.
keep the honest people out.
Yes.
Yeah. Good deal.
Yep.
Good deal. Well, thank you. I know you're going to be staying up here. I believe we're working on something else, and my apologies to the board, but we wanted to bring this today. We have had an increase in the phishing of our planning department, sending out emails for our ZBA, so I'd like to ask them to join us. Matt Charters and our IT department, Eric Howard, if you'd like to come up. So what what's been happening is they've been sending out, there's been emails going out, there's been a notice on our website since January that has been there that has been happening. And the notice on our website currently is a short blurb that just says, regarding phishing emails. But if you would like to just explain the increase that's just happened over the last 24 hours, which is why there's...
It seems like we're getting more and more. So this initially started happening in the beginning of the year, so it's coming from a domain that's very similar to our email addresses. It'll say from either the zoning board or it'll say planning.townofriverheadny.gov, and then it says @usa.com, which you all know is not the town's email domain. But they're actually generating an entire response letter from the zoning board chair, signing his name on it, and asking for a wire transfer of $4,000. Unfortunately, I did learn today that someone actually paid the money, so I assume you'll be getting a police report in that regard. Go ahead.
And I do have, the emails are coming up for the board now. I have them. That's how...
It's fairly sophisticated, but I assume they're probably using an AI just to pull stuff off of the applications. Applications get posted online because that's part of the requirements for the Zoning Board of Appeals. I do know that in one case, the person's email address wasn't even on there. I think they're just pulling names and then using names to find email addresses, get in touch with these people, and asking for money. As we all know, but the public might not know, planning board applications, we only accept checks or money orders. We're never going to ask you for a wire transfer for anything like that anyway. If you get a suspicious email for a planning department application, always call. We're available. 240 is our main line. My extension is 207. If it looks weird, it's probably not coming from the town, but call and ask and we can tell you that it's not coming from us.
So we asked questions this morning, we're on our end, we're good, right? We're secure, we're safe, but people are welcome to call your department if they have questions from home. I mean, you're more than willing to at least let them know if it's come from the town or not. If some business is getting this, making them aware.
Yes, if they receive any emails, they have any questions, they can call us, or they can forward the email to us and confirm or do not, or let them know that it's fraudulent or if it's legitimate.
Right. And your extension to your department?
To reach the entire department is extension 348.
Yep. And that calls everybody's phone so that they're available, and thank you.
I would say we can work with the press, obviously, to get the word out a little bit.
We see the sample email, so
we're gonna get that to you. We just wanted to hear from all of them today. I wanted the board to weigh in because they haven't had a chance, and make sure that those are the emails that came into us.
Very helpful,
So
thank you.
a sample email that we've put together.
And then if we could get it on the town socials too, just so everyone knows what's going on. I think, and I saw from Southwell Town Police Department, I think someone's using their phone number for fraudulent attacks, so I just saw that on their social, so it's kind of everywhere. We just need to be hyper aware.
Do we know if that's happening in any other East End towns?
I don't know if it's happening in any East End towns, but we saw it in Florida. It's happening. I Googled the domain, and it seems like they're doing it everywhere. Heather did a little research. Looks like the bank's somewhere in Kansas City, so we're working to resolve the issue.
Obviously, anybody that receives this and it's deemed fraudulent can make a police report, and the police department would start conducting an investigation to try to get, subpoenas into the domain, and it goes from there. A lot of them out of state vendors and businesses do not have to answer New York subpoenas, so sometimes we do get stopped at that point. So,
Where's the feds on this?
I would have to reach out to them. I don't know if they've been. We usually give them the federal government's website so they can make a report with them as well. And if they do a bigger investigation behind the scenes, which there have been, where we have a fraudulent activity, and then the federal government says, okay, we're already working on this. We'll add it to our case.
So Chip, do we like on the landing page of our website? On the top left hand side, maybe we need a big warning up there, and so when people go to the websites.
there is.
So that's what happens now.
Oh,
So
I didn't see it.
January 1st, this has been.
Pop-up comes right up on the website, says, hey, this is ongoing.
Okay.
We have a more detailed one that's going to come out soon to kind of beef it up, and then
It's been there since January 1st. We monitor the residents. We don't ask for electronic payment. We do not. No one in our. We are checks only right now, and so for that department, and so that's been a benefit. And you want to weigh in?
Yeah, if anybody gets something like this, as the chief said, it should be referred to the police department. And as you start getting these in, whatever information the police department is coming up with in terms of identifying the source, we can discuss whether there's any civil options for the town to pursue.
And we do have a seminar that I believe it was rescheduled because of the snow, so I don't actually have the dates coming up. But our senior center, I believe this week later.
It was gonna be Tuesday.
Tuesday. It was going to be Tuesday. Have they rescheduled it yet?
I'd have to find
Yeah, I think we have somebody looking right now. But that is, so if you're at home, come to that. That's going to be a great place to come and to learn and to listen. And I know, again, this is in real time, so that's why we're hearing about it now. So I just wanted to make sure that we didn't miss anything, and
And we'll have
payments in the water district. Yes.
That's the water
We do water, electronic
but
payments.
the planning department, yes. So
just check.
Those are paid through a specific town website, right? So I think, the point here is if you're getting an email that says to wire money somewhere, that's
The water district doesn't send you a request.
right. For the public, you're never going to get something from us asking for a wire, right? So if you see something like that, that's when you contact us.
And we'll make sure the land use boards, planning board will make an announcement before their meeting. Zoning board will make an announcement tonight before their meeting, just so the public, as they're watching on channel 22, which they often do, know what's going on.
yes. Anywhere. Thank you, each and every one of you. And again, for the public, 727-3200, and let's give them your extension. 348, there we go. That'll be, and then that would be a great place to start.
240.
240, so we know, there you go, 727-4500,
I'm 378.
378. So anybody that has the questions to call, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yep, no, thank each and every one of you. All right, well, we're moving to our resolution section of our work session with our Deputy Supervisor, Devin Higgins, if you would take care of that. Thank you, each and every one of you, for...
I have a microphone today. Am I picked up on the overhead? Okay. All right, if the board's ready, we'll get right into it.
Yes.
Okay, resolution number 1, Water District Capital Project number 82604, Extra Space 61 Main Road Budget Adoption.
Devin, give us a second.
Sorry, I thought you were ready.
Okay, hit it.
All right, let's do it. Resolution number 2, adopts Highway Department budget transfer for additional salt. I think we all know why this one is necessary.
Why do we need salt?
Number 3, accepts donation from the Chevy Youth Sports Team for PILO football and cheerleading. Thank you to Eagle Chevy. Resolution number 4, authorizes purchasing director to attend annual New York State Association of Municipal Purchasing Officials Conference. Number 5, appoints an account clerk to the Recreation Department. Going from provisional to permanent. Resolution number 6, appoints a building plans examiner. Resolution number 7, reclassifies an office assistant to a senior office assistant. Number 8, reclassifies an account clerk to a senior account clerk.
This is the one from last year that was actually moved, budgeted for, and somehow when it got moved, it was 3%, and it should have been 4%. So we're just matching that, making sure it's right. We're just kind of fixing that from last year.
Yes, correct. And resolution number 9, ratifies the resignation of a building plans examiner. Resolution number 10, appoints Denise Andrews to the Town of Riverhead Agricultural Advisory Committee. Number 11, appoints Walker Gravagna to the Town of Riverhead Agricultural Advisory Committee. Number 12, appoints Matt Wells to the Town of Riverhead Agricultural Advisory Committee. Number 13, reappoints Eve Kaplan to the Town of Riverhead Agricultural Advisory Committee. Number 14, extends bid for water service materials. Number 15, Authorizes the supervisor to execute an agreement with the Riverhead Lacrosse Club for referee umpire services and team fees for Town of Riverhead Police Athletic League Girls Lacrosse Program grades K through 8 for 2026 calendar year. Number 16, we have just one change we have to talk about for this resolution. I'll read it, and then we have a couple folks in the room that are going to come up so we can go through it. Authorizes the Community Development Department to apply for community project funding, aka congressionally directed spending. Senate and community project funding, aka congressionally directed spending. House of Representatives for the construction of the proposed Riverhead Water District Public Water District Extension 96 and Extension 97, and for equipment for the Riverhead Police Department. So we have Water District Superintendent Frank Mancini, we have Joey Mariana from CDA, and we have Jeanette DiPaolo, the Financial Administrator. They're going to come up. But just so the board's aware, in the paragraph, now therefore be it resolved, we have listed there $6.775 million. That's reflective of the total project cost for Extension 96, not what we're going to apply for in this grant. So we're going to scratch out 6.775, and we're instead going to put in $4,092,000. So the group can answer any further questions, but just so everybody's clear, here you go, Frank.
Should have went for the 6.
You want me to do a brief explanation or anything?
Sure. He's just adding his numbers, right?
Yeah, so
I get it.
you guys should be commended for supporting all this grant work to bring people into the public water system, because it's a grind behind the scenes, and without your support, we'd never do it. We're still working on the East Calverton, Middle Road, Toomey area, still looking for about $4 million to complete a $6.7 million project. That area is very contaminated and not likely to be the result of the Navy. It just happens to be contaminated. Just yesterday we met and we decided we're going to try and apply for more funding for the Forge Road job. It takes years to administer the grant, and in this case, the DEC's been sitting on the permit for roughly a year. The costs go up at that time. We didn't know when we applied for the grant there'd be conditions of purchasing, like say using 30% of your money for disadvantaged contractors drives the cost of that work up. So now we figured let's go look for a little bit more money to make sure that when we execute the job, we're fully funded. That's what the $590,000 is.
Awesome. Questions?
Go get it.
Good.
Fantastic.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you all for being here, being ready to answer those questions.
Okay, resolution number 17, approve special event chapter 255 application for East End Arts and Humanities Council, Inc., the Community Mosaic Street Painting Festival. Resolution number 18, approve special event chapter 255 application for Jamesport Farm Brewery, JFB Food Truck Rodeo. Resolution number 19, approve special event chapter 255 application for Jamesport Farm Brewery, JFB Car Show. Number 20, approve special event chapter 255 application for Jamesport Farm Brewery Fresh Hop Festival. Number 21, approve special event chapter 255 application for Rise Life Services Car Show 2026. Number 22, authorizes Town Clerk to publish and post notice to consider an amendment to Chapter 231, Article 27, Section 69, entitled Use Tenancy Permit Fire Marshal Review. Just to remind the board, resolutions number 22, 23, and 24 were the subject of discussion at your work session on February 12th. We had the fire marshals here discuss fire prevention, maintenance of equipment, and fire safety review. And these now are moving forward to the publish and post per the discussion that day. Resolution 23 authorizes Town Clerk to publish and post notice to consider amendment to Chapter 217, Article, what is that, 14? Nope. Yeah, 14, right? Or 19. I think it's 19. Entitled Fire Safety Review, Section 69, entitled Change of Tenancy. Nobody helped me on that Roman numeral. I was looking for a lifeline.
Where were you? You know what it was? You said the next three, so I just clumped them together.
okay.
So I apologize. What were you
Number
looking
23,
at?
I think it's 19.
I don't think that's
Where
19.
are you?
no?
No, that's 14. Wait a minute. 5?
I don't know.
Okay.
No, is it?
I don't think that's accurate. That would be a 5 is V, 1 is 6.
Fortunately, it's not affecting the substance of the
Is it
resolution.
54?
I don't know. Really, I'm guessing. I don't know.
Isn't 50L? Like, I'm just thinking, okay.
I'll Google it.
Take a look at that one. That one might be a typo.
Resolution 24 authorizes Town Clerk to publish and post notice to consider a local law to amend Chapter 231 of the Riverhead Town Code titled Fire Prevention, Article 3, Administration. And number 25 pays the bills.
Any questions? All right. Well, that ends our work session. First, yes, ma'am,
I'm
sorry.
sorry.
Oh,
I had something come up that I need to let people know. The Recreation Department is having their spring-summer registration, and they're doing something special for Earth Day, which is April 22nd, and that is the day that their registration opens. So, as liaison to the farmland, I thought that this was kind of important. So they're doing an Earth Day giveaway. And people that come in to register for programs for the spring and summer, they're going to have special giveaways to people that come in person to register. And they're also looking for donations of saplings, flowers, seeds, all earthy stuff that can be donated here at Town Hall in the Rec Department. And if anybody would like more information, they can contact Ashley Shandell in the Rec Department at 631-727-3200, extension 733. Thank you.
Absolutely, absolutely. If there's nothing else, then we will ask for first and second to enter our executive session to discuss the following. We have personnel matters surrounding the hiring of an employee with Chief Frost, and litigation matters surrounding litigation between the Town of Riverhead and a former employee with Councilor Howard.
So moved.
Seconded.
All in favor? Opposed? You didn't say anything.